Welcome to episode 1 of the Alex Morgan podcast. And today we begin where every journey has a crack of light, or in my case, a shadow. This is a story I've held on to for years. The night that changed everything. The moment the veil opened without warning. And I stepped into a world I didn't understand yet. I was only 10. Come on. No one prepares you for the first time you feel spirit standing right beside you. No one warns you that grief can open doors or that love cross dimensions just to reach you. So settle in, dim the lights if you dare, because we're going all the way back to the night my grandmother visited me after she passed. And the moment my psychic awakening truly began, I'm telling you, this is going to get crazy. This is where it all started. Hey guys, it's Alex Morgan, Psychic Medium here, and welcome to my very first podcast, which I am super excited to be launching and creating. It's been something that I've been wanting to do for a while, and let's be real, sometimes we don't have time for this shit, and it's been a very long dream of mine to be able to have my own podcast, and well, here we are. So if you are listening for the very first time, you can find me by heading to www.alexmorgan.com.au, and you can find all my socials by following Alex Morgan Psychic Medium, TikTok, Instagram, and all the socials, and you can listen to all podcasts on anywhere that you surf your podcast. So let's get into it and let's begin. I want you to imagine something for a moment. The kind of night that feels still, quiet, too normal to suspect anything strange. And that's exactly the night my life shifted. Not with chaos, not with fear, but with a whisper and quietness. A whisper from the other side. Now, that other side could be many other things, but let me tell you, it was a whisper from the other side from my grandmother. Now, my grandmother had only been gone for a few weeks, and I was still living in her house, sleeping in the bedroom right next to hers, and every corner of that home still smelled like her, sounded like her, it felt like her. And the grief really clung to the walls like dust no one dared to disturb. Mum and Dad were in the granny flat attached to the house, and they would live in the granny flat. And if I needed them, I would be going to them and be like, hey, Gran needs you. And even though we're all grieving, none of us were prepared what was expected or what was about to happen. It started at 3 a.m. I was only 10 years old, and trust me, nothing good, normal, or logical ever happens at 3 a.m. I wake up to a voice, not a dream, not a memory, not the echo of grief. A voice, her voice, clear as day, as breath. Alex, I need to go to the toilet, help me. My heart dropped for a split second. My brain responded as if she were still alive. I literally went to sit up with her, and before remembering, she wasn't here anymore. And let's be real, I was like a complete dick moment. The moment alone cracked reality open. The room around me shifted, the air thickened, warm, heavy, familiar, like someone had just stepped into my space. And then the smell hit me. Her perfume, the exact floral scent she wore every single day of her life, a smell I hadn't breathed in since her funeral. It drifted through my room like she had just walked past me. That's when the shadows began. Soft movements in the hallway, a flicker in the corner of my eye, the silhouette of someone pacing the space between our bedrooms exactly the way she used to be when she was alive. I froze, not in terror, but in recognition. This wasn't imagination. This wasn't grief. This wasn't presence. Spirit presence, exactly. And it was real. What makes this story even stranger? It didn't happen once. It happened again and again and again. Every night, 3 a.m., her voice, her scent, the shift in the room, every night replayed like the universe was stuck on a loop. And the house, this house that once felt warm and safe, began to feel darker. Not frightening, but full, like someone else was living in the shadows. I knew I had to tell someone, so the next morning, I told Mum everything. Like, literally, every detail, every whisper, every shadow. I expected disbelief, concern, and a soft pat on the back, followed by, sweetheart, you're grieving. But instead, she looked up at me with a seriousness that sent a chill down my spine and said, Alex, I know, I also heard Gran. And in that moment, everything clicked into place. My grandmother wasn't haunting us. She wasn't confused. She wasn't stuck. She wasn't here with purpose. She was here with intention. She was trying to reach me, reach us, and that was the moment my awakening began as a psychic medium. The thing that anyone tells you about a spiritual awakening is that it rarely arrives wrapped in beauty. And for some of us, it arrives right in the middle of the mess, the pain and the parts of our lives we would have never chosen. After my grandmother's visits, after the shadows, the smells, the 3 a.m. whispers, you'd think I would have felt chosen, guided, special. But the truth, I didn't feel special at all. I was a kid who had moved schools 9 different times. 9. Like literally 9. Out of all places, all things, 9. Every time I'd finally settle, finally fit in, finally breathe, life would flip again. And with every move, the labels followed me. Haha, you're the fat kid, you're the loser, you're the weird one, you're the gay one, nobody wants to like you, nobody wants to, be your friend. You can go be by yourself. Oh wait, kick him in the curb, kick him in the locker, do this, do this, do that. I didn't feel psychic, I didn't feel magical, I didn't feel intuitive, I just felt wrong. And I was like the wrong kid. And when the spiritual stuff happened, the shadows, the pull, the energy shifts, it didn't feel like a gift. It felt like another thing that made me different in a world already determined to remind me that I didn't fit in. The bullying was relentless. Being gay was already too much for some people to handle, and let alone my own self at the age of 16, working out that I was gay. Like, hello, that's taboo. We don't talk about that, you know, and trying to tell them, oh, and by the way, I also see dead people for a living. No chance. Like, come on. Who's going to say to someone that I speak to dead people for a living? Like, even now, I still get frowned upon. It felt harder to say that I'm psychic than it ever was to say I'm gay. And being gay made people uncomfortable. Being psychic, that made me uncomfortable. And somewhere between the bullying, the loneliness, the 9 different schools, the constant starting over, my mental health collapsed. Depression, dark thoughts, moment where life felt impossibly heavy, moments I never thought I'd get through. I didn't know how to hold the spiritual world and the human world at the same time. I didn't know how to hold me. And especially when I lost my grandmother, my world, my guardian angel, the person that really, showed me life and made everything so special. So I did what many intuitives do. When the world becomes too cruel and too confused, I shut it all off. I literally didn't even believe in anything spirituality. I shut off all my abilities, the connection, the sensitivity, the parts of me that could feel this other side breathing against this one. I buried it with everything else. I didn't want people to see. Years passed and I lived pretending that nothing ever happened. Like, I didn't even hear my grandmother. I didn't even have any other experiences like that. I completely shut off that the shadows, the whispers, the knowing, my grandmother, everything like that were just grief, imagination, and childhood fear. And let's be real, at the age of 10, you're not going to be hearing your dead grandmother going, oh, get your mum, I need help. That doesn't happen. I became the version of myself everyone expected me to be. Well, I tried to be. The quiet one, the normal one, the muted one, the one that had no friends, just went home all day, every day, and just, cried and pretended that life was magical when really it wasn't. But spirit always has a way of finding its way back in, even through the smallest crack. And as years went by, one day a friend really looked at me and said something so simple, so casual, but life-changing. They said to me, you should try tarot cards and crystals. I think you'd be really good at it. I'm like, okay, sure. I laughed at it because back then I didn't believe in ghosts. I didn't believe in crystals. I didn't believe in tarot. I didn't believe that there were anything fancy or magical, or you're going to tell me that, a crystal is going to heal and change lives. I was just a kid who survived 9 schools, survived bullying, survived depression, survived shame, survived life, and literally survived the fact that my grandmother passed and that how was life going to be the same. But something in her voice, something in that moment woke a part of me that I thought I'd buried for good. The moment I touched my first deck, the moment my fingers brushed the first crystal, my entire body reacted, a memory and knowing a recognition, like some ancient part of me whispered, finally, you're ready now. And suddenly everything I had shut off, everything that I thought was completely fake nonsense, it sort of jolted and changed me in a way. Like, let's be real, I never believed in tarot cards. Like, I opened up the tarot card and I'd get the devil and I'd be completely freaked out by the devil card because, the devil talks about temptations, seductions and illusions, and you're thinking that you're going to conjure the devil. But let me tell you, it doesn't work like that. But this time I wasn't a scared child. I wasn't running. I wasn't hiding. This time I was stepping into it. Not as a fat kid, not as a loser, not as a bullied one, not as a gay one, but as Alex Morgan, the psychic, the medium, the intuitive, the one who survived and the one who was meant for this all along had really came and shaped me. My grandmother opened the door. Pain shaped the path. But choosing to walk back through that door myself, that was the real awakening began. My awakening began in that exact moment. And, throughout the whole years of my life now, looking back at those moments, that very first encounter of my grandmother, I was scared. I was afraid. I wasn't able to move forward. I didn't know what was going on in that moment. And then when we go through trauma, trauma is what defines us. It either makes us or it either breaks us. And in that moment, when we look back at so many different things, you're able to recognize parts of your own self. And let me be real, if it wasn't for spirituality, I don't even think I would be here today. Before we end today's episode, I want to speak directly to people who have ever felt different. Too different, too sensitive, too emotional, too weird, too gay, too quiet, too loud, or too anything, right? And everyone who knows me, I'm bloody loud, right? The ones who were bullied, the ones who were left out, the ones who learned to shrink parts of themselves just to survive, the ones who carried wounds so silently that no one ever noticed you were hurting. This message right here is for you. If you need to hear this when I say this, nothing about you is ever too much. You are just surrounded by people who couldn't hold the magnitude of who you truly are. Your sensitivity isn't a flaw, it's a compass. Your intuition isn't weird, it's wisdom. Your emotions aren't overreactions. They're proof that your heart feels deeply and honestly. And I know what it's like to be the outsider, to be the target, to be the one that the world doesn't quite know what to do with. But listen closely. The qualities you were bullied for are the parts of you that made others uncomfortable. Those are the things that make you powerful. The world needs people who are different, people who feel, people who see beyond the surface, people who can talk into a room and sense what others can't, people who survive what should have broken them and still show up with an open heart. And if you've ever been made fun of, rejected, ignored, or told you are wrong for who you are, please hear this because you are not too much. You are not too sensitive. You are not too weird. You are not too broken. You are not wrong. You are rare and you are gifted. You are meant for so much more than the smallness other people tried to force you into. And if you're listening to this right now, I want you to know something else because you deserve it. Spirit has always spoken louder through the ones who feel different. The outsiders, the sensitive ones, the ones who grew up on the edges, the ones who learned to listen in the dark. Your pain didn't happen because you were weak. It happened because you were being slapped gently, painfully into someone could hold light for others, and into someone who could understand shadows and still choose compassion, into someone who could survive 9 schools, bullying, shame, fear, identity, and still rise. You didn't go through all of that to become small. You went through it so that one day, when you finally step into who you are, you should understand your power. So if you ever felt too different, I want you to take a breath right now and let this settle into your bones. You are here for a reason. You were built for something greater. And the world is finally ready for your version of who you are that you were always meant to become. You are safe to be you now. And if no one has ever said this before, let me be the first. I'm proud of you. I see you. And you belong here. Thank you for being here with me, for listening to the beginning, the messy parts, and the magic that shaped everything that came after. My grandmother's visit didn't just open the door to the spirit world, it opened the doors to me. The parts I tried to hide, the parts I didn't understand, the parts that the world told me that I was too different. And maybe you've got a door inside you too, ones that's been waiting for the right moment to open. In episode 2, we're going deeper into what happened after these encounters, how I became the medium, how I learned to navigate the chaos and the calling, and how your loved ones are guiding you before you even realize it. If episode 1 was the awakening, episode 2 is the becoming. Until then, take a breath, hold yourself gently, and remember the ones you love never leave, and neither does the version of you that you're finally ready to become. I'll meet you in the next episode. Love and blessings, Alex Morgan. Mwah.